A fine example of engineering, some would say a work of art. Originally drawn up for a smaller gauge, this locomotive would find herself being built to 15-inch gauge and would journey from the Welsh coast to the woodlands of Wigan before reaching Cleethorpes. My name is Dylan and this is the story of Rachel. The original concept for this lovely locomotive was to be a loco on the 10¼ gauge railway known as the Shillingston Railway, and construction would begin. However, fate had other plans for dear Rachel, and she would not be finished until 1961 and would be now built to a 15-inch gauge. After being completed, she was taken to the Fairbourne Railway on loan, where she would be bought a few years later in 1965. After being built, she was named after Rachel Wilkins, John Wilkins' sister. Her brother owned the Fairbourne Railway from 1946 to 1983. She arrived at the Fairbourne Railway in a lovely Brunswick green, which she carried for a number of years on the Fairbourne Railway. However, from some photographs, it appears she had a repaint at some point during the 80s. You may have noticed that her front cover received a few changes over the years. This was due to her having a rebuild in 1974, replacing the 2.5 litre Daimler petrol engine with a 3-cylinder diesel Petter from Whippet Quick, and then another in 1977 with a Lister SR3 with modifications making her into a diesel hydraulic locomotive, which she remained as until the end of her service at the Fairbourne Railway. In 1984, as Fairbourne gained new owners, so did Rachel, as she was sold and moved from Fairbourne to the Haigh Railway in Wigan, where she would run until 2017. While at Haigh, Rachel would be renamed to W. Brogan BEM and was given the number 15. She received some alterations to her front once again and was extended by 6 inches and received a new coat of green paint, covering up her old Fairbourne crest. In later years, her livery would change once again to maroon, which she carried for the rest of her time there. She proved to be popular with the staff and was a favourite to use on wet days due to her being able to cope, thanks to her 6 driving wheels. When a new rake of carriages and a new steam outline locomotive arrived from Allen Keith though, she was made into a backup locomotive and was placed in the shed, only to come out when the new locomotive failed or was used for track work. Before the repaint into maroon, her bonnet would be shrunk back a little and new fins would be added. In later years she would be tinkered with time and time again as crew struggled to run her. Sadly, in 2017 she was deemed unfit for service and dismantled, placed into the sidings in one of the sheds. However, her story doesn't end here. In early 2018, Austin Moss of Windmill Farm Railway purchased her from Haigh and reassembled her to run at the farm. She would return to Fairbourne for their annual gala in 2018, however afterward she was sold on once again and arrived in November 2018 to the Cleethorpes Coastline Railway, where she would enter service in 2019 to become the main passenger diesel, giving our dear old DA1 a rest. After 3 busy seasons at Cleethorpes, it was decided to give her a repaint. However, this simple repaint became more of an overhaul as she required retiring on her wheels and some work done on her gearbox. She would return into service in June 2022 in a lovely yellow-green livery with some black paint in the mix to make it really stand out. We hope you enjoyed this little journey through the history of Rachel. Please leave us a like, share this video with your family and friends, and if you want to see more content from the Cleethorpes Coastline Railway, please subscribe.